Or where in the world is Windy? Where in the world is Brian Windhorst? No. It's too early for that, Brian? No? Welcome back to The Jump. We are now joined indeed by Ryan Windhorst, who is in Tokyo and in no mood because I have gotten him up at 4 in the morning. Is that about what time it is there, Brian?
Well, it's 4 in the morning now, but I didn't just get up, Rachel. You know, it was a little while ago.
It takes a while to look like that.
I'm so happy to see you.
Well, we normally play Where in the World is Brian Windhorst, and I don't have to do that right now because I know for a fact you were in Tokyo, Japan. You watched Kevin Durant pour in 29 points to lead Team USA to the medal rounds, that quarterfinal win over Spain. Team USA will now face a formidable Australia team in less than 12 hours. Patty Mills on that one. And the USA women's team just beat the Australians in their quarterfinal matchup. So, Brian, what are the keys for the men's team as they prepare to take on their version of USA versus Australia?
Boy, get Kevin Durant whatever you can to make him nice and comfortable. Search Tokyo for his favorite food. Make sure he's well rested because he is the driver of this team right now. I mean, they're getting some good play from some other guys, but Durant has been huge in the last couple of games, and they're going to need him in this one. This is the best team Australia has ever had. I would say they've been building towards this game today for a decade. And so you understand Australian basketball, they have finished fourth 4 times. They've been dreaming of a chance to win a medal and beat the U.S. This is their opportunity. The Americans have got to be ready right out of the gates. You know Patty Mills is going to go full bore. You know Matisse Thybulle, who is going to be out there defending Durant, is going to give all of his energy. It's going to be a really intense game.
You mentioned Patty Mills. Of course, there's a little subplot there facing who is now his former coach, Coach Pop. Any added drama there with Patty joining the Nets? Do you expect any sort of funny moments?
Rachel, this entire situation is absurd because over the last couple of days, Greg Popovich hasn't just been trying to get the U.S. team ready. He's been negotiating with 2 different Australian players. One, Patty Mills, who's had for 10 years, and Patty moved on to the Brooklyn Nets. But he signed Australia's starting center, Jock Landale. He signed him yesterday, or, whatever, committed to him. He's been pitching him, and, there were several NBA teams that wanted Jock. He's going to be the next, big Australian player to play in the NBA. He signed a 2-year deal with the Spurs yesterday. So while he's running his team through the paces and preparing them for Australia's big men, who, by the way, are good and can cause problems, he's, on the other hand, signing and trying to say, hey, come play for me at the Spurs. I asked him about this, and he said, I am not sleeping. I am not eating, and you know how much Pop likes his dinners. Yeah. And he goes, I'm basically either coaching or on the phone. So this is just an outrageously ridiculous situation, but that's where we are here in Tokyo in this one-off bizarre year.
Jacques could have just waited to see how the game went for you tonight and just said, we'll see how it goes. Then I'll decide whether there's a sign or not. You want to throw in a win, but it will be a lot of fascinating subplots going on during this game. And if the U.S. advances, Brian, who do you think Team USA would rather face in a potential gold medal matchup? We've got Luka's Slovenian team or Rudy Gobert's France squad on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, so this is a great question because the French have beaten the Americans the last 2 times they've played, including last week.
Quite recently.
And Evan Fournier, I can't even say the newest New York Knick, the second newest New York Knick, has just killed us, Rachel, both 2 years ago in China and then this summer. He just killed us. And so I know that you're thinking about Luka, who has been the MVP of the Olympics so far, although let's see how Kevin Durant finishes out. But by the way, Zoran Dragic, not Goran, his brother Zoran, that's not a joke, has been awesome. I know Luka is getting all of the attention, but Zoran has been slaughtering opponents. They won in the quarterfinal round, they won by 40 because Zoran was killing. So I think they would probably take their chances with dealing with Zoran and Luka as opposed to dealing with the French again. But that's going to be a heck of a game after the Americans play the Australians later today.
Such good stuff. And of course, one of the now time-honored Team USA traditions is recruiting, right? We've seen so many relationships grow out of Team USA, turn into super teams. That is, of course, how Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James became close. It is how KD and Kyrie became close, with DeAndre Jordan as well. And they, of course, ended up as Nets. We've seen other relationships form. So who is doing the lobbying right now on this Team USA? Any budding relationships we should be paying attention to?
Well, Draymond Green and Damian Lillard are buddies. They love to hang out with each other. They love to play with each other. And I know that, you may be making an assumption like, oh, that means that the Warriors are going to try to get Dame. I'm not so sure it's that. I think Dame would like to get Draymond to the Blazers. So I'm not sure which is which, but they really like playing with each other. Yeah, but one guy I'm going to tell you who is loving this experience, and I don't know who he's bonded with, but I'm just going to tell you to file this away. Zach LaVine is loving this experience. And by the way, he's playing really well. And the opportunity to play with this kind of talent, in my view, he's elevated his stature during this process. And I know the Bulls just made a couple of big additions, and they're probably going to have a step forward year. But he is going to be a free agent in a year, and he's now played with a whole bunch of great players, and he knows now what it's like to play with great players. So I can't predict what's going to happen, but I suspect this experience is going to have an impact on Zach LaVine one way or another.
Well, Zach has certainly shown through the years his work ethic is there. Wanting to get better is there. He has been waiting for opportunities like this, adjusting to coach after coach after coach. So I imagine being in this kind of environment has really made an impression on him. Thank you so much, Brian. We really sincerely appreciate the early wake up, and we'll be watching your coverage of Team USA in the semis later on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Enjoy your Wednesday afternoon. I had mine a long time ago.
Exactly. And shout out to our producer, Tony Florkowski, with you as well. Everyone else stick with us, because coming up, we're going to talk a little Lakers. They keep adding players. Every day we come into work and there's more players to talk about. Do the pieces fit? Are they too old? Can they play defense? So many questions. We'll break them all down next on The Jump.